bit of self-help for you guys today. I'm going to show you how we tape a long-headed bicep tendon and the bicep muscle so you guys at home can do it if you need to. Now I'm using kinesio tape. It's what we use for this sort of thing so you can move with it. This is usually for a tendinopathy in the long head tendon. Okay, now remember bicep meaning two. There's two tendons up the top here, right? Two muscles here, anchor point down into the radius. So we're going to start by doing the lateral side and then we'll do the medial side. Elbow crease down here and measure that to the top of the shoulder because you're going to stretch this. So you don't want it too long, otherwise it's too much, you have to trim it off. That would be about right. You're going to do two of them, right? So the best thing to do, just do two of them like that. And then cut off at the bottom, split it in half like that. And then you've got two the same. Now with all tapings, the little trick that we use is round those edges off. That will stop it flicking off, especially for someone like a shoulder. When you're putting clothes on and off, you don't want it catching on the edge. So just make sure you do your homework on that. And there you go. So first one, I always put the person on a bit of a stretch. So yes, she's on a stretch here, but not a stretch at the top. So we'll tend to sort of drop her arm down a bit here. Okay, so she's on a little bit of a stretch through the front, as long as that doesn't hurt. Now for this one, I'm going to start at the bottom. All right, and then we'll go to the top. So for this, you remember the bicep tendon is going to go into the radius. So you're going to think, okay, this side first. So come below the anchor point, which is way over here on the radius there. So you've got to cover your anchor point. Now the anchor points are going to be 0%. So you don't stretch the bottom part. It's about this much that you're not going to stretch. And then take this tape off to about there. So you're not touching the tape because the more you touch it, the less it's going to stick. And then give it a stretch. Now I like with these ones doing 100, almost 100%. So you think of like, how far can I take this tape? You're going to go at least sort of 80%, way above 75. And then follow the outside line of the bicep. So you're not going through the middle, it's the outside. So over the bottom tendon there, and then around, keeping this tension on the outside of that bicep tendon, and then you're going to come up right over the long head. And now of course the long head goes into the shoulder. So we're just going to cover that and then go almost sort of like over the AC joint. And then the top part, you notice how I just drifted that off to 0% here. So that last section here is 0%. So as long as you come above that collarbone, perfect. Now for these, what I tend to do is once they're all sort of down, then you can really heat it up. As long as it's, there's not too tendon through there. So before they move, it's not going to come off. And especially where you've pulled it 100% or up to 100%, that can sometimes come off. You've really got to stick that down, get some heat into the skin so the glue sets well and it's not coming off as soon as you put it back on. So there's your first one. Pretty easy, huh? Okay, just as a heads up, if you become a member of this channel, you can get exclusive access to the exact exercises that we give our clients here in the clinic with the exact cueing, instruction, technique correction, so you can get your rehab done right. We're uploading over 700 of our new videos, so head to the members area and check it out today. Second one, you're going to think, okay, I'm going to go on the medial side here and then come over sort of where the short head is. So this one, same drill, top and bottom. I would almost, with that anchor point, I'll just overlap it by maybe half. So I've come down here, go down to there, really nail that down, and then grab, same as I did last time, try not to touch the tape, and then come on the medial inside of that bicep muscle. And then this is the tricky part. You don't want to come over the pec. So once you get to there, you may find, oh, how am I going to get to that point? I would then maybe bring our arm out a little bit more and then go around the pec insertion because otherwise it's not going to stick. And then wrap around like that, just twisting the tape without it curling, and then come up and then over to that part there. So you're coming over that coracoid process. Like that. So you can see this bit here, you really want to nail that down. If you went over the pec, it's not going to stick down and it'll be a nightmare. So make sure that's all stuck into there and no wrinkles. Then you can bring her arm back and sort of voila. Now, because you've really cranked it up here, it's going to give that tendon quite a lot of support at the top. Now, if you had a bicep tear, so we'll just do an additional one, what I would tend to do is band-aid the bicep tear where it is actually torn. So if say, let's mark her, we'll mark it like this. Let's say she's got a tear right in the middle of the tendon like that, the muscle, okay? What I would do is measure just about sort of 3 perhaps squares, 3 big squares worth, and do 2 of those. And think of like you're making like a super band-aid. What this does, it gives way more tension in the muscle to keep it together, okay? Because remember, tears pulling apart, we want to sort of hold it together. So if you do have a muscle tear, this is only just an additional one. If you just got the tendinopathy part, I would just work on that. If you've got a muscle tear, this is what you're going to add on. So these ones, what you do is then take the whole thing off. Now you will touch the tape a little bit, but it's not too much. Go like that on either side. So I'm not touching my anchor points. What I would do is come across it on a 45-degree angle. So there's the middle of my tear. Pull it hard there and anchor it down in the middle. And then have your ankles off there and off there. Okay, so there's one. And then you just, like a sort of cross band-aid, you think, okay, I'm going to go exactly across it like that. So same thing, it's just the opposite. Pull it apart 100% over where that tear mark is. So then the anchor is 0 there. Just make sure there's no wrinkles in it. And the anchor's 0 there. And again, same thing, rub that down. And that'll just give that muscle tissue a cross-sectional support there. So really helpful when you've got muscle tears. So there's our bicep tendon taping. Hope that helps. See you next time. Now, if you are struggling with your rehab and you need specialized, structured physio exercise rehabilitation programs for your injury and surgery, then do yourself a favor and head to physiorehab.com or click on the website link in the description below. If you like the content on this channel, then hit the subscribe button, because the bigger the channel gets, the more free videos I can put up for you to watch.